There are a lot of different reasons we might decide we want to get back into shape. For some, it might be that they want to recapture some of their glory days. For others, like myself, we feel like we're still in our glory days and we want to be in the best shape we possibly can so we can fully enjoy them. A good quality of life starts here with ourselves and our own bodies. The good news is we can get fit and build muscle at any age. When it comes to the best way to build muscle injury-free, sometimes our youthful minds get the better of us. We've decided we want to get into shape, and we want to get into shape now. Marketing and advertising hasn't helped, making rapid transformation seem like the norm, not the exception. Consistent progressive improvements in our lifestyle and our training bring us the biggest long-term results. One of the most important things we need to do when we first start training is to be honest about our current condition. The way I do this with my clients is through a consultation and fitness assessment. This is where we go over not only your goals and past training experience, but past and current injuries, medications, sleep habits, and there's an area on my consultation form where I list the different joints of the body and I ask if you've ever had any problems with that joint. I have found that we've all had developed at least one joint that gives us grief from time to time, and we need to be aware of this before we start, because we don't want to be reminded the hard way. Next, we need to make sure we warm up properly before we start training. I do this with a series of dynamic stretches and mobility movements, moving our joints through a pain-free range of motion. The right exercise done incorrectly or too frequently can cause injury. And this isn't just limited to people new to lifting. The biggest mistake we tend to make when we used to lift, whether it be when we were younger or just a couple years ago, is that we seem to think we can just jump back in at that level. When we first start back, it is more important that we develop the habit of exercising regularly with good form, more than just going hard and heavy. Making sure we leave enough time between training sessions for full recovery, remembering the new muscle is built during recovery. Once we become more experienced in training harder, we can start to suffer from what they call cumulative fatigue. This happens when we don't fully recover from one training session to the next. It is different than overtraining, but it should be addressed before it becomes overtraining. Taking a deload week is a perfect way to do this, giving us time to lighten up the weight, maybe even cutting it in half, and focus on form, allowing our bodies to recover and protecting us from injury. The longer we've been alive, the more time we've had to develop muscle imbalances. The four most common ones are rounded shoulders, hunched back, anterior pelvic tilt, and forward neck. All of these muscle imbalances set us up for potential injury, so we need to address these imbalances in our training programs, stretching the tight muscles and strengthening the weak ones. For example, if we have spent years working at a desk or a computer, we probably have rounded shoulders, so our chest will be tight and our upper back will be weak. It's important to include stretches for our chest as part of our stretching or mobility programs, and to make sure we're doing chest-supported rows for our upper and mid back in order to correct this problem and prevent shoulder-related issues. When we are lifting weights, sometimes we get very linear in thought. After all, we're lifting weights, so to progress, we want to lift more weight. But this doesn't always mean adding more weight to the bar. There are many different ways to increase the resistance, like adding another rep or set, and reducing the rest times, all providing more resistance on the muscle, stimulating growth, without increasing the weight on the bar. Strategic use of isolation exercises can also help us work around a trouble spot so that we can stay injury-free and keep working out while having fun. This is Lawrence from Fit and 50. We'll talk to you again in the next one.